HiBy. Have you heard of these guys before? You probably have if you're in the portable audiophile business, because HiBy, they make a lot of excellent DAPs or digital audio players, including this little one here. This is their entry-level HiBy R2 Mark II, and yeah, this is a great little DAP. That's the only HiBy DAP I have because of my peasant reviewer status. I don't have any of their high-end models, but you know that's how life goes. But in today's video, I'm going to tell you that, well, it's not new exactly, but they also have started making some IEMs as well. And in this video, I'm looking at the HiBy Lasya single dynamic driver in-ear monitors. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. Now, before we get started, I just want to say that it's raining rather heavily outside at the moment, so I do apologize if there is any background noise, distracting background noise. Hopefully I can sort of make the most of it. Anyway, that is the box. I'll show you what's inside because you get some cool stuff. You get a pretty cool semi-rigid carrying case. It's nice and big. It's bigger than your average one. And, ooh, look at that. It's got nice padding on the inside, so that is good protection for your pretty IEMs, because they are pretty. I'm not going to bring them out yet because there's more. We've got some error tips, and yeah, I know, I'm joking. That is just a typo. We've all done it before. So you get 3 types of silicone ear tips. You get crisp, base, and balanced. And then you get 1 pair of memory foam ear tips. Always love to see that in the box. And even better, the stock ear tips actually are large enough for my ears. So thank you, HiBy, much appreciated. Now, on top of the ear tips, the carrying case, you also get a carabiner clip. Look at that. Very cool. And you get 2 cables. Yes, that's right. How many IEMs have you bought that came with 2 cables in the box? The difference being one is a 4.4mm balance termination and the other one single-ended 3.5. And yeah, that rain is coming down really hard outside. I'm sure you can hear it. I apologize for that, but life is, well, my life is super hectic and busy, and I don't have any other time to do these videos. I have to do it now. So let's bring in the IEMs, and there they are. Aren't they pretty? And by the way, the price of the HiBy Lasya here, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, the Lasya. I don't know how to say it, but that's what I'm going to call it. The price of the HiBy Lasya is $239. So inside we've got a single 10mm carbon nanotube diaphragm driver. And yeah, that's basically it. Look, these come in 3 colors. You've got this purple. They also come in a blue and a green, and they are very, very pretty. You got this sort of acetone faceplate with golden lettering inside that looks very classy and nice. Clear resin shells. You can see the drivers in there, and they're really pretty. Pseudo custom style shells. Very comfortable as well. They're not too big. They're about average for this type of shell. I mean, in size, and I find them very comfortable. I've worn these for several days, all day long at a time during my testing. I've been testing them for a bit too long because I just didn't have time to get my review done. But all right, time to talk about how these sound. Let's throw up the graph, and I would say the Lasya's tuning is fairly neutral, albeit with a subtle lift in the bass and upper mid-range. It's slightly on the warmer side of neutral, producing notes with plenty of body and thickness. There is a focus on vocals, enhanced by the lift in the upper mid-range and a smooth treble response. Let's talk about the bass, which is subtly boosted above neutral, providing sufficient impact and power. Lasya, however, is not designed for bass enthusiasts seeking an overwhelming low end or bass head levels of bass. The bass notes are thick yet agile, avoiding any sluggishness. So they've got a slightly softened attack, but the speed is good. The decay is nice and fast, and the level is quite moderate. So yeah, the sub bass is both fast and controlled. It kind of offers a bit of a gentle rumble that prioritizes tonal accuracy over sheer physicality. And despite its lightweight character, the bass remains full-bodied and natural, establishing a warm foundation while playing a supporting role for the mids and the vocals. Moving on to the mid-range, the mids are rich with subtly thickened notes, while Lasya maintains excellent clarity and resolution. The highlight lies in its captivating vocals, brought to the forefront with vividness and without any hint of shoutiness. Both male and female vocals receive ample appreciation, blending seamlessly with other instruments. And then we come to the treble, which is somewhat laid back, striking a balance that prevents it from sounding too dark, while at the same time not being bright or sharp. It gracefully highlights bass and mid-range notes without becoming excessively bright, while still providing ample details and definition. Though it may not be the most precise treble, it prioritizes tone over incisiveness. It's a non-fatiguing yet an engaging experience, ensuring a sound that is never dull, but at the same time is never harsh. And when it comes to soundstage and technical performance, look, the soundstage is fairly average in terms of dimension, yet it does have very good forward depth in the stage, and it boasts pretty strong imaging as well. It's got impressive instrument separation, and although the overall dynamics are kind of average, Lasya maintains excellent cohesiveness and a natural organic sound, which of course single dynamic drivers tend to do so well. Now we're going to do a couple of comparisons, and I'm going to start with another single dynamic driver I am kind of in the same price range, and that is the Moondrop Kato. Now this guy retails for $189. The Lasya at $239, yeah, it's significantly more expensive, but you have to remember that it comes with an additional cable, which probably makes up for a lot of that extra cost. Whether that's of any interest to you or not, well, that depends on your situation. But I will say that these two have a quite similar sound signature and presentation. Very similar, in fact. Pretty much neutral, slightly on the warmer side, fairly subdued treble, but still crisp enough to keep things going, lively and whatnot. The main difference is in the bass, where Kato carries a more impact and authority. Now this could be a good or a bad thing depending on your personal preferences. Lasya's bass is a tad softer and not as forward in the mix. As a result, vocals have more prominence. The Kato, on the other hand, has more texture in its bass and has slightly better overall dynamics. So which one to choose? Well, apart from the differences in sound, which aren't huge, they're, like I said, fairly similar, bit more bass on the Kato here. This one's got heavier metal shells and a kind of thick cable, compared to very lightweight resin shells and thin cables on the Lasya. Whether that makes a difference to you or not, I don't know. But look, I could live with either of these as a daily driver. I probably still have a slight preference for the Kato, just because it's got a little bit more impact in the bass. However, if you're looking for something with slightly more fidelity than the Kato, the HiBy would be a good choice. But when you consider the price, $189 versus $239, the Kato starts to look pretty good. You know, unless you're an IEM collector, which you probably are, and you really have a use for an additional cable, or at least, you know, 2 terminations. Okay, and now let's have a look at the Wrapped Go Hook X, and this is pretty different. It's got a planar magnetic and a piezoelectric driver inside compared to single dynamic driver in the Lasya. They are the same price, both at $239. They both have very different presentation and sound signature. The Hook X is more aggressive in the bass and treble, and generally more upfront in every way. It has considerably more bass quantity. Some might say it's even kind of verging on bass head level. Not only that, but the Hook X has better definition and more texture in its bass. The Wrapped Go's mids are more recessed compared to the Lasya, but they also have better instrument separation and faster transients courtesy of that planar driver. Lasya's mid-range, on the other hand, is more velvety, and it puts a bit more emphasis on vocals. And when it comes to the treble, the Hook X is brighter, more upfront again, and as a result it has better detail retrieval and imaging, but some people may find the highs a little bit too forward, a little bit too aggressive perhaps. Both of these IMs are great. Which one would I choose? I don't know really. Probably the Hook X again. Just I like a little bit of extra bass response in my music. Although the Lasya comes with an additional cable, the Hook X comes with a modular cable, which allows you to easily switch between the 3 different terminations that are included in the box. So that, guys, is the HiBy Lasya. These are a really good IM. I think they are great, and it proves that HiBy know what they're doing in terms of tuning an IM, as well as, you know, obviously they can make great DAPs too. So it is a good IM. However, I think the pricing is a little bit too aggressive. That is probably most likely due to the fact that they put 2 cables in the box. And while that's really cool, it probably would have been a little bit more competitive if they'd stuck to a single cable and lowered the price. But, you know, it's an option, and it is a good option, and I'm looking forward to seeing more IEMs from HiBy in the future. And with that said, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Parfam audiophile style. And if you're new here and you want to see more audio related content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you later.